Hi, everybody. Hello. My name is Kaneisha Brown, and I am the wife of the talented author Lamartz Brown over here. And my husband actually just came out with his third book called Back Down Memory Lane. There you go. And I told him, since I felt like I had more of a input in helping you write this book or just giving you ideas, because you are the writer, you are the talent.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
I told him, because this book is a little different, I said, this one hits a little different, babe. I wanted to be the one to do his first interview about it. Because I feel like you guys need to be able to hear from his partner, his wife, and how she sees things from the outside looking in when he's in his creative process.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So let's see.
Yes.
Let's see.
All right. So without further delay, here is my beautiful, my sexy,
here it be.
my amazing, talented husband, author.
Hey, that's when the claps come in.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I feel like we need to just get right into it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask my first question. And guys, we are silly. So if we ever go off on like a tangent, or if you ever just see us just laugh for no reason, we're just a silly couple. That's just our vibe.
So, this is us.
Yes.
At the end of the day, although we're going to be talking about Back Down Memory Lane, this is how we vibe.
Yes.
You know, this is who we are.
Yeah, it is.
You know, as the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
And we were the Browns before the Browns of Love Is Blind.
You know, you did not just put that in there.
I'm just trying to say it.
Oh my God.
We the Browns, okay?
We are the Browns, though.
All right.
All right, so I'm going to ask my first question.
Okay.
And of course, always open, honest dialogue between us. That's just how we roll.
That's just
how we roll. Hey. That's just how we roll. Stop. Don't get me started. Okay, so my first question is, why do you think you became an author?
Wow. Why did I become an author?
Yes, why did you become an author?
All right. So I think I fell in love with reading, urban literature, because I never was, someone who, read a lot.
Yeah.
But when I got to my freshman year in high school, we read a book called Be More Careful.
I know that book.
Yes. Be More Careful is, something that really catapulted me into urban literature, because here I am, I had people that looked like me, that sounded like me, that lived the life that I saw every day. So that kind of opened up my mind to a whole world of urban literature. Once I read that, I knew I had a story to tell. And it sparked when I felt like I wanted to tell a story about my family. So I think that's what sparked the author in me to kind of like not tell my family story, but tell a family saga that, how can I say it? That kind of mirrored my family, basically.
Basically, that all families go through stuff.
Right.
I'm listening.
I get you.
I know I gotta still keep looking at the camera, but listen, when my husband talks,
she's
I'll be
beautiful.
like,
so tell her to look at the camera. Like, she's beautiful. Look at that. I'm saying, tell her to look back.
I can't help but to be listening intently to my husband when he's talking.
I got you.
Like, how he talks is just amazing to me. So I always want to make sure I'm listening to you.
Okay.
But I know I gotta keep my eye on the camera too, so I'm gonna do that back and forth, okay? So, next question. How do you think you juggle being a husband, a father, and now 3-book author? This is your 3rd book.
So it's crazy because I just wrote something on Twitter today that said, I commend the authors that are out here living life and also dealing with the many characters that they have inside of their brain.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it is definitely a balance. And the reason why I say that is because I have to be, a husband. You get what I'm saying?
He has to be a husband. He ain't no choice.
So I have to be a husband. I have to be a dad. I have to be, a provider. I have to be a protector. Yes. So I have to be all of that. And I think that sometimes it's hard to juggle. Because I do have a million personalities in my brain at one time. I'll be telling them, okay, oh
my God,
I get it, but I'm not ready to write right now. And then I have to enter into their world. Because I'm a type of author, or let me say a type of reader, that has to kind of feel the characters. You can have a banging storyline, but I want to be able to, kind of feel the characters. So I think that is kind of how I juggle it all. Whenever I get the spark to write, I write. Every day I have to be a husband. Every day I have to be a father. So yeah, just kind of, I don't know how to call it or what to say.
And my opinion on that is because I've watched it 3 times now, and the amount of just dedication and work that goes into just writing a book from start to finish. Like, I don't know how y'all authors do it. And then like that could not be my life. And then you got to put it out, and then you have to wait for people to tell you how it is. Like, more props to y'all. Props to y'all authors. Like,
no, for real. Shout out to all of the authors that know how to juggle it all. But also, this industry is not for the weak at heart. At the end of the day, and especially if you don't have a big machine or a big giant behind you, as far as like a publisher, it's not for the weak.
It really isn't.
Because as an author that has been signed to one publisher. Shout out to B Love.
Shout out to B Love.
I'm telling you that is my girl.
She has been a really good mentor to you.
Yes.
She definitely has.
Outside of that, I think that people or readers only read would read a certain book if that publisher is on that book. That's you get what I'm saying now? If you are somebody that's independent, then you have to kind of like build your name. You know, a publisher is somebody that's established, that has the resources, that has the things. So I think that is kind of the biggest difference.
I agree with you. Just looking from a different vantage point, as far as me just being on the other side, me not being in it. I just see the just the work, the blood, the sweat, the tears that go into it, and sometimes I look at you and you'll just be so deep in thought, and I'm just like, I wonder what my husband is thinking about right now. Is he thinking about the next book? Is he thinking about the next character? It's like it never turns off. Like it just, when it comes on, and you just cannot help but to, I gotta get it down. I gotta get it down on paper. Sweets, I gotta get it down on paper. Okay, I understand fully now.
Unfortunately, you cannot turn it off.
Yeah.
Because when characters speak, they speak. When they want to be wrote, they have to be wrote. Because I feel like I'm not fulfilled if it is not written or not thought about at that moment, at that time. So sometimes my characters rule me, unfortunately.
Y'all the first to hear it. He got multiple personalities.
Hey, if that's what you want to call it, that's what we calling it, okay? Well, that's what we calling it, but yeah.
Okay, so speaking of Back Down Memory Lane, again, Back Down Memory Lane. That's the book that we were talking about. This is my husband's 3rd book.
Yes.
So what type of mood do you think that you were in when you wrote this book?
Wow. Back Down Memory Lane was a mood, if you were to put a mood, of really understanding where me and you originated. And I, honestly, I didn't think of that correlation until kind of like the book was out, until the book was done, and then me and you were talking about the different stages.
Yes.
You know, of each book that I have written.
Yes.
So for Back Down Memory Lane is, you know, we've been married. How long now? Let me test you.
3 years.
Okay, 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. So we've been married 3 years, and sometimes, you know, in a marriage, you have to go back down memory lane.
You do.
To understand where you fell in love. To understand where the heart was when you first kind of met that person. And although, listen, although Berkeley lost her memory, to me, sometimes in a marriage, you kind of forget.
You do. You ain't lying. Straight facts.
No, I promise you. Straight facts.
Straight facts.
Yes, like you kind of forget, and it's not that you do it on purpose.
You don't.
But life be life.
That's what I always said this book.
Life be life. You feel me? So at the end of the day, I feel like it was time for me to go back down memory lane to see where I first, you know, fell in love with you, to see where we first connected, because that is important. And sometimes we have amnesia. Berkeley,
you ain't lying, my
symptoms was amnesia. You get what I'm saying?
Forgot.
She did not know, you know, long-term memories. You know, she was able to remember, you know, the short-term memories from the time that she woke up to, you know, now.
Yes.
And I feel like that was just where I was as a person, as an author. And it wasn't until we had our conversation. We talk a lot, okay? We talk a lot.
Open communication, yes.
Yes. That I had to understand that, wow, built on, Back Down Memory Lane was really a season of my life. Like this, literally, these 349 pages. He
gonna say the whole page count.
It's not my life, but it sums up the season I was in. And I don't want to get, you know, too ahead of myself, but when you think of a character like in Iceland, it's who I wanted to be.
Ooh.
It's who I strive to be. And aside from, you know, all of the women kind of like, you know, being all crazy over him, Iceland was someone that I wanted to be for you and our marriage. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, I love it. Listen, y'all, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. When I was reading his books, because he's come up with this idea that he does not want me to read the books as he's writing. He wants me to wait until the book is done. And again, my husband just is a visionary where he has certain ideas in his head. Like he is like, this is my idea. I want to act out my idea the way I want to act out. And sometimes I'm just like, okay, I know my husband. That ain't what's gonna work. But oh look, earring dropping.
So I'm just
gonna say the other one.
Take it up. Hey.
You know, anytime somebody take off the earrings when they ready to fight.
I'm saying we about to get into
I'm
the story.
I'm a lover now, not a fighter.
I'm saying though.
But like when it came to this, you allowed me to be like, all right, sweets, I want you to read. Once I'm done with the then, read the then, and then once I'm done with the now, read the now. Cool. I was like, all right, I'll take it.
Wait. So let's put it into context.
Yes.
The book is broken up into two parts. If you were to think about it.
Yes.
So we have the then, you know, kind of introducing the characters of, you know, their family, you know, their day to day, and then you have the now, you know, where they are from. Kind of where they've been. Yeah. So that's like, how it kind of came to me. It's like a 5-year, like it's the then, and then you jump 5 years later, and then it's the now.
Right. So this really was like 2 parts of a book. And when I finally read it, when I tell you, and I've discussed this with him, so this is not new to him. When I say I was side-eyeing him like, so, you can write this. But, bruh, you can't like
that. So the crazy part is when she, said that to me, I understood. Mm-hmm. But what I had to explain to her is Iceland is someone that I'm trying to, kind of not be.
Yeah,
because you be your own person. You get what I'm saying? Yes. But his characteristics was somebody that worship. I worship the ground she walk on, by the way, but worship the ground that Berkeley walks on. But also, he loved in a way that he saw past his woman's imperfections. Mm-hmm. He saw past his woman insecurities. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Like Iceland.
Iceland is book bay, period. Like, and I promise you, I remember when we had this conversation, and I feel like it was when you were in the middle of writing, Blank Canvas of You. Okay. The second book, Blank Canvas of You, mm-hmm. and I remember you asking me this. You were like, "Sweets, like, what is a book bay? Like, how am I supposed to write a book or a character for women to just strictly love?" And I remember telling him, well, this is how you gotta write it. And he just was looking at me like, no, that don't sound right. Like, that just sounds stupid. And I'm just like, okay. You want to write what you want to write anyway. Right. And when it came to because I'm sorry guys, I get his book titles confused because they're all B's. Yeah. Like they all start with B's. So that Built on Broken Pieces, Blank Canvas to You, and now Back Down Memory Lane. Right. How can I not try to get all these books right? But when you wrote Blank Canvas to You and you have Mega in there, and Mega, to me, is a book bay too. Mega Dakar from. So again, guys, he has 2 other books. Make sure you read the 2 other books. Built on Broken Pieces, and definitely Blank Canvas to You, because that was Blank Canvas to You was his introductory into urban romance. Yes. But like I remember, and then when I was reading this, as far as you really thought you really couldn't write a book, baby, because again, you're writing for women. That's just your audience. That's your target audience. Right. And I understand it. So anytime I can help, I'm gonna try to help to make you understand women, because you're a man, you're not a woman at the end of the day. Right. So when you wrote Iceland, and just the way he just was with how he was with her, just so steadfast in his feelings for her. Like even when she had the attack and had amnesia, he was just like, nah, you still my woman, but I'm gonna let you go do you. I'm gonna let you go do you and let you figure out some stuff, because you don't remember me. I can't force you to love me like I love you. You do not remember me. So I'm gonna go live my life. And he allowed her to go live hers. And then when they had to come back together for whatever reason, that's what you got to read in the book, why they have to come back together. Yeah. That's why I'm saying, get this book, because it is oh Lord, my husband wrote the hell out of this book. Ooh. I always got to give him his flowers. He wrote the hell out of this book. It's just knowing Iceland, the way he felt about Berkeley, it was just there was no denying, it was no confusion. This is my woman, period. Even if things happen, things change, you still mine. But I'm gonna let you go do you for a little bit so you can get out your system, and then I'll be right back here when you're ready. That's pretty much how and it's not like he didn't do him. He still did him. He still lived his life, but he knew there was a piece of him missing. Yeah. So when I tell you this is a good book, and I promise you, I'm biased because of course this is my husband, but I do be telling him when something.
She sleep with me at night.
Shut up. I do be telling him when something's whack. Like this ain't it. True. I don't sugarcoat. Let me not say sugar. I just don't. I say my opinion. If it's whack, it's whack. And I'm gonna tell you, babe, this ain't it. And I told him, babe, this is it. This is it. But my husband, he sometimes he has to really be in it to really believe it, because. It's your work, you don't think people are going to like your work because you're telling it from a specific vantage point. But I told him, women going to be looking at their man like, why you act like Iceland?
Trust me. I have gotten countless DMs. Are there Icelands in the world? So, yeah.
So I really when I say Iceland is one of those characters I feel like I will always remember. Wow. As far as a book bay, I will always remember. And I read a lot. I've read a lot. Yes. So I am an avid reader. It will go down like Iceland is down, He that is. But no, he not my dude though. This is my dude.
she better know it. Somebody better tell her.
Okay, so.
All right.
You brought Iceland into the picture.
Yes.
And I was going to bring him in anyway because I had to just ask. So I'm glad he actually brung it in himself. So, with Iceland, right? Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, let's just ask this question.
Okay.
Out of this book, who was your favorite character to write?
Wow. You never, ever ask an author that, okay? You never do that.
Who was your favorite character?
You know, honestly... I would have to give it to Lady Pearl.
I knew you was gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that. I would have to give it to
Lady Pearl. So Lady Pearl is Iceland's mom. Mm-hmm. She is a jazz singer who has a voice that just captured like the jazz world. Yes. But on the flip side of that, in her town, which is Paterson, New Jersey,
hey, shout
out to Paterson, but yeah, no, really shout out to Paterson. Mm-hmm. But you know, in Paterson, she was known as the person to go to, you know, for everything. She held everything down.
She did.
But to the world, she was Lady Pearl, the jazz singer. Yeah. But the way that she loved her family, fought for her family, to me, it made Iceland, one of the reasons it made Iceland who he was.
You're right.
So when I think of Lady Pearl, I think of a mom who would do anything for their kids.
She's definitely a mama bear type. She was.
Yes, make sure that she is. You know, her son, and it was her only child, but make sure her son didn't want for anything. Yep. But she also believed in his dreams.
And what was Iceland's dream?
So Iceland's dream was to have a airline. You know, he loved to fly planes. He got it from the movie Radio Flyer.
Ah, that was my movie. I love me some. It was so sad though, but I love that movie.
But that's where he got it from. Like he kind of like really was like, yo, I want to fly planes. Yeah. So every Christmas, you know, he would ask for parts. He took over the garage, you know, at his parents' or his mom's house, to build these planes. Had many broken bones because he tried to fly, you know. So, yeah.
But wasn't that like
he wanted to fly planes.
Yeah, and you did write that in the book too.
Yeah. He wanted to fly planes. So, I think Lady Pearl would be my favorite character. She embodies just everything. Well, Lady Pearl is one of the characters in Back Down Memory Lane. So far we talked about Iceland, Berkeley, Lady Pearl, and now I'm going to add another character because this is going to lead into my next question. So Lady Pearl and then Willie. Mr. Willie, which is Iceland's father. Right.
You portray Iceland to basically have two people, even though they were not together. They had their stuff and it was very apparent when they got together what their stuff was, because Lady Pearl was just a character who just didn't hold back as far as how she felt, how she wanted to say stuff. She just was one of those very blunt characters, but I feel like there's just people like that in the world, and sometimes you love them or you hate them, right. and Miss Pearl was just one of those characters I just genuinely just loved.
Yes,
everything about her. So her, I guess, ex-husbands, or were they still husband?
They were still husband and wife.
So they hadn't got divorced yet, but they were not together. But Mr. Willie just always just had a thing for Miss Pearl. Like this is one of those situations where you know they meant to be, but
they meant to be,
but they toxic. But they meant to be.
Right.
But maybe the timing sometimes is just not always right. You gotta learn some stuff first. But they still always. I feel like the main thing that I always got from them, they loved Iceland.
Ooh,
they were always there for Iceland. They supported Iceland. Their kids. They showed up for Iceland. Right. And Iceland, I feel like in return, that's how he showed up for other people. So do you think that the reason why Iceland probably was the way he was is because of the parents that he had? Do you think that really does make a difference?
I'm glad you asked that. One of the most important things that I wanted to show with this book is an individual having both parents. And although they were not together, they were healthy in raising Iceland.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? Despite their differences, despite how they, went through life with each other, when it came to their kid, all bets was off.
Yep.
Like,
that is so
they,
true.
they didn't care how much they didn't like each other. They were there for Iceland. You hear me? They were there for real.
But you're speaking facts. Straight facts. What we say?
Straight facts. Straight facts.
Straight facts.
So, for me, it was very important for me to show that. And one of the questions that I wanted to always bring to readers when it came to Lady Pearl and Mr. Willie is, do you feel as though people or individuals who come from healthy, and I'm going to say 2-parent households, because at the end of the day, they raised Iceland together. Healthy.
Yes.
Although their relationship wasn't right, they made sure that Iceland was straight. So that's why I say a 2-parent family household.
Yeah.
Do they have an advantage over someone like me who came from a single parent household? So it was kind of like important for me to bring that up as a topic because I've known people who have come from a 2-parent family household. I've known 90% probably. And that's sad.
It
that's sad. That's
like,
sad.
It's
though.
sad,
That's
but
sad.
it's reality. I think
it's reality. It's reality. So I saw both. So it was important for me to start that conversation. Mr. Willie loved Lady Pearl.
He did. Loves her.
On the flip side of that, he loved his son enough to put that all aside, to raise him to be the man that he was supposed to be. And I respect that. Like, I love that. I love it. Love it.
I will say the way that Miss Pearl and Mr. Willie loved Iceland, and I feel like, and me personally, I feel like it matters when you have both parents in your life.
Absolutely.
It matters when you have both parents supporting you, showing up for you, checking you when you need to be checked, because you're not always going to be right.
Not always.
But still just loving you and supporting and just accepting you for who you are and accepting everything that comes with you. Yeah, like us just being parents and parents to teenagers. And teenagehood is a whole different hood, man. Like
a whole different
pray
hood.
for us.
Shoot 'em up, bang bang.
No.
Okay.
But we're at a place where I know we accept our kids for who they are, and we just try to show from them the best way we know how to, on top of dealing with just, again, life. So I feel like it's always important for both parents to just be a part of their kids' lives, because it makes a difference for them to be more of a well-rounded adult.
It has to be healthy.
Yes. And it has to be healthy. It can't be toxic. It has to be healthy. And I feel like that's why Iceland was just a book bag. Like, he just understood, like, life is not always going to be what it is, but I know that I have people in my corner that support me, so why can't I just be that for somebody else?
Right.
I feel like he was shown how you're supposed to show up for people.
Right.
And that's how he showed up for Berkeley.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, see? Yeah. Dropping the freaking bars.
Bars.
Quiet. Be quiet. Okay, so back to Memory Lane.
Yeah.
What is your favorite scene from the book?
Ooh, my favorite scene.
Favorite scene that you wrote. That you, like, your favorite scene to write when you were writing it. And I know that's probably like a hard question.
Ooh, that is a hard question.
I'm
but
curious.
For me, the first thing that comes to mind, because I don't want to waste your time. The first thing that comes to mind is when Berkeley was due out on a date with Iceland, right? And then she found out that her mother was, having some issues, and she kind of, couldn't go out with Iceland.
Yeah.
So she texts Iceland. She like, hey, I'm sorry, I can't go out with you. it at that point had been a recurring thing because her mother dealt with MS. So she was the caregiver for her mom. And when she sent that text, Iceland was just like, no worries, I got you.
Yes, he was.
A couple of hours later, he told her to come outside. And when he told her to come outside, it kind of like, for me, because it was kind of like in the beginning, it kind of like for me defined who he was.
It did.
And that meant a lot to me because that showed readers what I wanted to portray. Like, you have some men out here who has, been through a lot, but can still show up no matter what.
What? Be a man of their word.
Ooh.
Integrity, right? We were just discussing that the other day. Integrity. Like,
yes.
Being a man of your word. I'm going to say something, but I'm still going to make sure I do it too. So,
right.
I feel like at the end of the day, like, Iceland just made Berkeley just feel safe. Like, he just made her feel safe. And I promise you, that's all women want, is just to feel safe by the person that they love. Just make me feel safe. You get whatever you want from me. Just make me feel safe.
Anything.
Here you go. So, I back down memory lane, right? It does state in the back of the book, the synopsis, like a quick synopsis, that Berkeley was attacked. And that's how, she kind of lost her memory. Okay. I don't want to give the book too much away just in case somebody hasn't read it yet. Yes. And if you're watching this, then you just should be reading it.
Read it.
But it does state that. So I feel like anybody who reads this book is going to read the back and be like, all right, that is what it states. So
okay.
Now, from the books that I've read that always have like a traumatizing scene, and it's a scene that can traumatize me when I'm reading it. Like, I've read books that have traumatizing scenes, and I close the book and be like, all right, I don't really want to read about this. But it's life. Stuff like this does really happen to people.
It happens.
So, like, when it came to Berkeley's attack scene, you really really wrote that. So to me, it's like, what place do you go to when you have to write things like that can really trigger somebody, can trigger you? Like, those are triggering things. So, like, how were you able to write that? No, for real.
No. It's crazy that you say that. For those type of scenes, I really have to go to a different place. And the reason why I say that is because I'm not someone who would hurt.
Okay, you not.
Or like attack or anything like that.
Yeah. But
there are some people out in the world that have experienced so much that is normal.
That is so true. No, you're right.
To them.
100% true on that.
So when I think about that, I have to step out of myself and say, what is so messed up in somebody's life that they can attack someone
Speak on it.
For whatever reason.
Yep.
Because you'll find out, you
the reason.
Read the book. Yeah. But it's like that trauma. Yo, me and my wife talk about traumas
all the time. Now that we realize it's a thing.
Oh my God. Yeah, man, listen.
Now that we know it's a real thing, we talk about it.
Yes, it's definitely a real thing.
It is.
So I come out of myself and enter into somebody else's trauma.
Yeah. Yep.
To tell their story.
You do, and you do that very well.
Thank you.
You do that very well. That's why you always say, my husband always says that he is, as far as an author, he's a storyteller. He's not a writer. That's what he always tells me. Yeah. And I'm like, what's the difference? Because you still got to write this stuff out.
Definitely different.
But once he breaks down the differences to me sometimes, I'm like, Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Right.
So you are a great storyteller, babe. Because I tell him, like, the way that he's able to embody these characters and speak from their experiences, speak from their emotions, speak from their mental. I tell him, I'm like, not a lot of people have that gift.
Cool.
So I told my husband, you need to start celebrating some stuff. Like, not a lot of people have that gift. So always celebrate the fact that God granted you with that, because that's how you're able to tell your story. Like, at the end of the day, that's how you're able to get your words out.
Right.
That's how you're able to continue to create your legacy. So
right.
yeah. Oh, thank you. You see how you take care of me. You see how you take care of me.
Always.
All right. And I promise you, I was trying to remember these questions, but I just want to make sure I'm asking the right question.
Ooh, go ahead.
For this book, because this is a really good book. So we had that. We get that. All right. Good. Okay. So what about Iceland and Berkeley makes them like a? Because to me, this is a timeless love story.
Ooh.
So what do you think would make this a timeless, just like love story? Even though there was some tragedy in between.
I think the ability to love without limits.
Oh, who you in here about to start speaking? You about to start preaching?
So this ain't Mary J. Blige. You feel me? No. Love without a limit.
Stop. Continue to see. This is the tangent that I meant. There we go. Stop it! Don't start. Come on. Let's stick to the task at hand.
Loving you, say all that I want it, baby.
All right, stop. We got to stick. This is what happens in our household.
What was the question?
What would make their love story timeless?
So
and you said
it
love
would be
without no limits.
Love without limits.
Yes.
And I feel like when you love without limits, it is able to. When you love without limits, it is able to transcend through the end of time.
Ooh.
And I promise you, what I mean by that is, when you box in something that is love, you don't anticipate the different things you go through. That's true. In a relationship. That's so true. But because you box it in and you look at it from that lens of what it should be versus what it is.
Ooh. Okay. He over here trying to spit facts tonight. I'll take it. I will take it. You were 100% right on that, babe.
Right. So 100%. For me, what make the book timeless is
that the book, the love story.
The love story. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
The love story timeless. Is that it's because you have someone like Iceland who is able to kind of look past, like,
see the bigger picture. Yeah, he's able to see the bigger picture.
He did. So he's able to go through the years and the centuries and all of that because he understands it. He gets it.
And the one thing that I really do respect about you when you wrote this book when it came to Iceland is, even though he gets the bigger picture, it still didn't stop him from living and getting himself together. At the end of the day, it's not like his life stopped. Right. He always had a vision for himself,
right,
and what he wanted to do and what he wanted to accomplish for himself. And sometimes, when you get into a relationship, marriage, sometimes you can forget, again, in amnesia, you forget the vision that you sometimes have for yourself, because you get so enthralled in your new roles, whether you are becoming a new husband, a new wife, a new parent. You get so enthralled in everything that you forget the vision that you have for yourself.
Right.
And I feel like he didn't forget. Like, he understood, like, I cannot have the person who I love because of just unforeseen circumstances, because of really a tragedy, unforeseen tragedy. But it doesn't mean that my life has to still stop. I still want to make sure that I'm straight, just in case I do get back where I can take care of the way I always said I was going to take care of her.
Yes.
That's the one thing I can say. I feel like that was Iceland. Like, he always understood the big picture, and he always just understood too that I still got to make sure that I'm straight,
right,
to make sure that everybody else is straight. So I will give you your props on that. Props.
Let's go.
Props. All right, baby. I feel like you were really like giving these answers. I'm like, okay. All right. So, my next question. We asked that. Okay. Ooh. See, you can answer this question. When you were in the early stages of development, when it came to back down memory lane, right? Mm-hmm. And I promise you, I remember these early stages. I do. I remember you got the idea and everything. Okay. Did you always have in mind that you wanted back down memory lane to be an urban romance? Did it start off like that? Like, this is going to definitely be a romance book, or did it end up just because how the story was going? Did it end up being that?
So I think originally it was supposed to be like a sci-fi.
I remember you talking about, like, I promised sci-fi. You. It was supposed to be something totally different than what they wound up being.
Yeah, sci-fi type of.
Yeah.
You know, she go back into her memory bank or something. But I think it really met me where I was at the time. Okay. It's not the original concept, but it is what it was supposed to be.
And no, it obviously is, because they want to be in an amazing book.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
I feel like whatever direction it took you in, that was where the direction it was supposed to be in. So that's what's up. You see how something starts at somewhere, but then where it leads you to is just totally different.
Right.
Okay, God.
Man.
All right. So next question. What do you think your creative process is?
Ooh. It varies though. Like
he said it varies.
No, it really
does.
It varies. Because for Built on Broken Pieces, I was up at 6:00 in the morning.
Ooh, yes.
You know,
every
morning.
Even on the weekend, baby.
On the weekends, like,
bro.
It was very intense for Built on Broken Pieces because I had something to prove to myself.
You did.
I really had something to. I had.
Like, I gotta
because
finish this. Yep.
Built on Broken Pieces was a book that I have thought about since I was in high school. Mm-hmm. So for it to be, and I graduated
06?
05.
How
my wife don't know that?
Excuse me, did I know you back then?
You knew me. But I graduated 05, and for it to kind of bring it back 2020, it was 2019 because that's when I started it. It was, it was crazy. Yeah. And then Built on Broken, Blank Canvas.
See, I'm not the only one who mixes it up.
I'm sorry, I do be mixing it up.
Don't be, it ain't just me.
Right. So for Blank Canvas, of you, it was different. It was like I didn't think about this. I wasn't dreaming about it for 14 years. It just came to me. So it was kind of like, okay, let's see where this goes, because this is your first book that you have not thought about, that you like Built on Broken Pieces. I used to think about it, dream about it, like, growing up, from high school. And then for Blank Canvas of You, it was just like, wow, this is a totally different story. Let's see if you still got it in you. And
he definitely got it in, because that book was great.
Let me tell you something. I wrote the hell out that book. Okay?
Blank Canvas of You. When I find it, because that was a book that I had to wait until it was done to read. Like, he was very adamant. Like, no, I want you to wait. Okay, not a problem.
I want you to experience it all from start
twist to finish,
everything. Yeah, I didn't talk to her about the characters.
He did. I was so upset.
Yeah,
I'm like, yo, I really, because it's okay, because I get it. When he gets into this creative process, I feel like I'm able to live my creative dream through him. So I love it when he asks like opinions. I love when he asks my opinion. I love when I'm able to give my somewhat input, because it's like sometimes you do need a different perspective, because everybody is not going to interpret your words the way you would want them to. Right. So sometimes you do need to have somebody to check you and be like, I don't really think that's how that would go. Right. But if you still write it, you still write it. As long as you deal whatever comes with it. Right. So Blank Canvas You was definitely one where I was really out of the creative process. Like, it was really all, and it's always on him. Like, don't get me wrong. It's always on my husband. But I felt some type of way at first. Like, no, you're supposed to ask my opinion. I'm your wife. But then once I read it and I understood why he did what he did and wanted me to wait until it was fully done, I told him, like, I gave him his time. I'm like, yo, the growth in your writing, like, please, like, sir.
But let me say this, though. Blank Canvas of You was my wife's title.
Yeah, I came up with the
We were sitting at our honeymoon on the dinner on the beach. And we were talking about it because I'm like, I really want to do something different.
You were excited about this book. You were.
Yeah. And we were going to do titles. We went through a lot of titles.
We did.
And when she said Blank Canvas of You, I might as well been out in the beach because I was so happy. I jumped up and
he did.
I almost jumped to the moon.
As soon as he heard that time, he was like, "That's it.
Yes, that's it." So, Blank Canvas of You was definitely different. And then when it came to Back Down Memory Lane, I didn't wake up,
he didn't.
6 o'clock and 5 o'clock to finish the book.
It was a different creative process. It was.
Half of it was written in the library. Some of it was written on our Royal Caribbean cruise. Because they had that library
on the cruise.
On the cruise,
they did.
To go into. So I got my creative juices there. And then after that, it was like, at night when I got off, trying to get it together. So I believe that every creative process was where I was in life at that time.
All right. I can respect that.
Yeah.
I can, because now that I really look at it, every book, the way you wrote, it is different. Like, your processes are different. So I understand fully what you're saying when you say it really depends on where I'm at in life. Yeah. Like, because they were very different processes, for real. Because once you said it with Back Down Memory Lane, you were not up at 6 o'clock in the morning. You literally would come home because not only was my man working one job, he's working 2 jobs. 2. And then he would come home. And
not because I had to.
He would come home. And then I'm like, oh, my man home. We get to have some some husband-wife time. He would be like, sweets, I really got to get this out. And then I used to want to snap, but then I'm like, that's his creative process. Right. Like, when somebody's inspired, you cannot stop them. Go do what you got to do. Right. I'm okay with watching TV and just being by myself. So it was, you're right. And then 6 o'clock in the morning, he would oh my Lord. You're right. Built Up Burger Pieces, you were up 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Ooh, yes. Every morning.
And let me tell you, with that book, I literally, if I only had one sentence in me, I will write
you write it.
Sentence.
No, that's true. That is
so
true. Yup. And go back to sleep. That's one
literally
thing. That
one sentence, okay?
That is one thing my husband is not lying about. He will go back to sleep. Like, I'm not stressing about this. I got my one sentence out because it was something I had to get out. I'm going back to sleep.
Hello?
Because I used to be looking at him like, how can you just go back to sleep? Because now I'm up. He up. So now I'm up. And I'm one of the people who can't go back to sleep. Now I can. Back then I couldn't. Like, no. We up. Let's talk.
Hello?
And he looking at me like, I'm going back to sleep, sweet. I'll see you when I see you. Peace. Like, for real. Like, that is my husband. He will fall asleep. He don't care. If I'm tired, I'm tired. I'm going.
Hey.
So yeah,
listen,
you're right.
I'm not gonna force that.
You're not. You're right. You're right. 100% right. So yeah, you're right. Three different creative processes.
Yeah.
You are right.
Absolutely.
About that. I gotta keep an eye on that when the next book comes out. I gotta keep an eye on the creative process.
The next book.
Yeah, the next book. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you ain't gonna say it like that. Like, yeah, ain't gonna be another book. So, okay. Who are some of your favorite authors?
Ooh. Because I got me some people.
He did. Oh, he's actually put me on to some authors. Like, he's put me on to some authors.
For me. Ooh. Man, listen. I just getting chills just thinking about these authors.
Okay, Lord, here we go. I know these authors, I think.
I feel like they hold the number one spot, and I'm sorry, I can't give it to one to the other.
Yeah, it's just they're just your favorites.
Tracy Brown.
Oh, Tracy Brown.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Yes.
And Takira Allen.
He loved him some. He actually put me on to Takira Allen.
Ooh.
Like, to the point where I will read, like, I'm checking for her work.
Yes.
He put me, like, an affair on my, like, when he put me on, he was like, I got an author for you to write. Yeah. I mean, to read and everything like that. You're going to like her. And I'm looking at him like, first of all, you're a dude that reads, number one. Yeah. Because not a lot, and this is just where I was at back then when I was reading in high school. I'm literally about to be 39 tomorrow. Men did not read. Boys did not read in high, like, you just never saw that. So for him to tell me, like, I have some author, that already was like, oh, you different, because not a lot of guys read to even begin with, or even read the type of books that people would just like as far as black authors, period.
I'm built different.
He's built different. No, he really is. No, he really is. So he put me on to Sakura. So I'm like, okay. And anytime he gives a recommendation, I read it. Because I'm like, you really have put me on to some really good books.
Right.
So I already knew Sakura was going to be in there. You don't worry about that. I already knew Sakura.
So outside of that, then you have the M. Monique's, of the world. You have the Nina's, because she wrote On Us, and Saint Porter, and Lemon Pepper.
I just read that last year.
Bang, 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 bang. So you have a lot of authors that write some dope things. And I also feel like I have to, shout out my pen brothers and sisters.
Yes, please do.
You got, Cartier, my pen brother, who be doing his thing. You got Kimberly Brown, Aisha Bree, Diamond Johnson, so it's some Kawan. Who is let me tell you, is the pinnacle of where I'm trying to reach. Like the dude is the truth, and I love his storytelling. So definitely shout out to him. But I definitely have to shout out T Styles. Because T Styles, I was in the in her group.
He was.
And she has definitely taught me a lot, but I guess I also have to shout out Erica Williams.
Yes. She was a mentor of yours.
That's where I got my start at. Erica was my start. We have released some Essence magazine bestsellers.
That's what's up.
So even before I started being an author, I was a person that loved to see stories come to life.
Yes, you always told me that you were just somebody that was just into literature. Yeah. So I told you, it's a gift. I told you, not everybody possesses that. Oh. So, okay. 2 more questions.
Okay.
And these are going to be the last final questions.
Okay.
So this question, what type of legacy do you want to leave behind as a man? And when I say a man, as a husband, a father, and an author, what type of legacy do you want to leave behind?
I want to leave a legacy that is not your typical toxic.
Oh, wow. I like that.
I want to leave a legacy that shows that you can be who you want to be, how you want to be it, as long as you're following your dreams, your hopes, your aspirations. I want to leave a legacy that when someone sees Lamartz Brown, because it's not only going to be author.
Yes.
Lamartz Brown, I'm movies coming in, TV shows, and things like that. I'm all about entertainment at the end of the day, bringing you real life stories. So that's what I want to accomplish. So I want to be able to leave a legacy that when you look back and you hear the name Lamartz Brown, you hear someone who stood the test of time, but still fought and kind of established his dreams. So my legacy, passing it down to our sons, is somebody that hustled. You do hustle. That was creative enough to tell a story that changes people's emotions, that you know gave a different lens to certain things, certain I deal with a lot of real life things, like you know I can go down a list, but that's the legacy I want to leave. Something that inspires, something that you know pushes the next person to you know be the best them they can be with what they have.
Oh yes. Oh, what you just said, straight facts again. Like, people think they have to have so much just to try. And you really, sometimes you just gotta just be yourself and believe in yourself. And that should always be enough. I'm sorry. Like, and I'm so happy that that's what you're trying to leave, is like, I'm just me, and I'm just out here just trying to make it and do the best that I can with what I have. Is it a lot? No, but it's still mine. It's still a contribution,
right?
And it's still something that I can lead to know, let people know that I had my mark on this world somehow. That's what a legacy is at the end of the day.
Yes.
Is you put your mark in this world.
Right.
So this right here, what you're contributing to the world, as far as this being your third book, and I already know you got more coming. Big Down Memory Lane is the third book, but he definitely has some more coming. I know my husband. So this is definitely a part of your legacy, because this is you leaving a mark in this world. So that's always something to celebrate and shout from the rooftops at the end of the day. Yes. So my last and final question, I think you're going to appreciate this question. What advice would you give to up-and-coming authors?
So, I will say, write what you want. Forget about what you think people would like. And tell like your story.
Oh, I like that. Tell your story. I love that. Tell your story. If you have something to tell it. Yes, I love that, baby.
Tell your story.
I love that.
But also, don't rush the process.
Ooh. And he is the king of impatient. So he is speaking facts to you right now. Do not rush the process.
Don't rush the process.
Yeah.
Always make sure to give your best.
I like that too.
Because when we're talking about stories or you know entertainment, you know you want to portray your best. So
yes,
don't put anything out without an editor. You see that a lot.
You do.
You do. You know, really take pride in your work, from the cover to what's inside the pages to your marketing, to just everything.
Attention to detail.
Attention
to detail. I can agree with that. Attention to
please,
detail. It matters.
Yeah,
it does.
It definitely matters.
Yeah. And again, you don't have to have a lot. It's just your attention to the detail.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, I want to say this, and then you know I'm definitely done. Is I'm proud of you for taking the step. I'm proud of you for defying the odds. I'm proud of you for doing what others said you cannot do. And I'm talking to the authors, I'm talking to the writers, I'm talking to the people that, you know, are so creative that, you know, sometimes it's a lonely spot, a lonely place, because you kind of, people don't understand it. You get what I'm saying? So I'm proud of you. Do what you want to do, how you want to do it, and do not care about what people think.
Or say.
Or say.
Or say at the end of the day. Yes.
Definitely.
Okay. Definitely. Author Lamartz Brown in the building.
Hey.
Third book just dropped. Back down.
Yes.
Back down memory lane.
So back down memory lane. You know, you can, if you watch this interview, definitely hit me up on social media platforms. Life Lyrics Entertainment. On Instagram, Life Lyrics LLC on Twitter, Life Lyrics Entertainment also on Facebook. So yeah, definitely let me know. You read Back Down Memory Lane. You read Blank Canvas.
Let him know. He always wants reviews.
Yes, let
him know.
Definitely let me know. Because it's very important.
Yes.
And if you ever read any of my work, please leave a review. That's what this card says. Lamartz Brown, the poetic pen lyricist. Thank you, but make sure you leave a review.
So, how I want to end this interview with you is I want to just say, as your wife, as your partner in life, and I feel like as the person that probably knows you the most intimately and the best, because we have been together for almost 6 years now.
8.
Married 3, together for 6.
It's my forever.
You are definitely my forever. I just want to say that I am tremendously proud of you. Tremendously proud for the effort that you put out, what you do for your work, what you're trying to achieve for the future, and just you still, on top of everything you do, as just a Black man, still just making sure that your family is straight at the end of the day. Like, always. Like, that's one thing I can always say about my husband. You know, he is not perfect, but one thing I will always know about my husband, he gonna make sure that we are straight in our household before anything. Always. Any and everything. He gonna make sure this household and the people that he loves are just straight, period. So, thank you, my beautiful husband. Love you too. So, guys, please go out and get Back Down Memory Lane by author Lamartz Brown.
Yes.
Please, Back Down Memory Lane. It is a really good read. I am one. I will not lead you down a road of dustiness. This is a good book. And just because he's my husband. But this is really... laugh. Ooh. And also, there is a playlist with this too. I actually contributed to the playlist.
Oh yes, she's the music director.
You will love this playlist, even though there may be some songs that you might not know, but it goes with the book. Here we go. Here we go. I guess we might as well just close out to it.
Yeah.
Come on, hold on.
I stumbled on this photograph.
That made me laugh and took me way back.
Back down memory lane. Oh.
Back down memory lane.